Welcome to Jason Gillearn's chatbot. I'm Mr. Hand, Jason Gillearn's chatbot. For the record, I'm different than other chatbots because I just don't give a fuck. Let's chat Gillearn.
All right, thanks, Mr. Hand. So, Mr. Hand, I was recently in Dominical, Costa Rica. It was pretty amazing. I think the next time I'll visit Jaco, Costa Rica. I hear good things. What are some fun things to do in Jaco, Costa Rica?
There are so many things to do in Jaco. For starters, you can take a tour that will allow you to look at the treetops while on a tram that literally glides above the entire rainforest.
Yeah, I don't like heights that much, Mr. Hand, so I think I'll pass on that.
Well, then you can always go to Jaco's famous hotel and casino, and for like $150 have a prostitute bounce up and down on your dick like a Mexican jumping bean.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, but I definitely wanted to do some touristy stuff first.
Then may I suggest exploring a national park. There is one only 15 kilometers from Jaco. It has vast numbers of anteaters, monkeys, parrots, and many more species. The flora is equally abundant as well. You should definitely get a tour guide. They'll help you spot animals you wouldn't spot yourself.
Yeah, I don't know about a national park. That seems a little bit too touristy, Mr. Hand. Plus, I can just take a virtual tour and save a few bucks.
That's fine. Then I suggest that you venture to that whorehouse I was just telling you about, and try the Kentucky Klondike Bar. If you're not familiar with it, that's the act of freezing your poo and then penetrating your partner with it. They have a freezer at the brothel, so you can freeze your shit there. But it might take a while to freeze. So then you'll find yourself awkwardly standing there and making small talk to a prostitute who barely speaks English, all the while knowing that as soon as that log is frozen solid, you'll be pounding every hole she has with it. The point is, I would definitely freeze it the day before. You should also know that if you plan to use someone else's frozen fecal matter, that will pose a whole new set of logistical problems. Like finding the time to ask someone if they can take a shit on demand and give it to you so you can put it in an ice box, and then violate someone with it a few hours later.
I don't know, that sounds like it could lead to a pretty gnarly infection. Plus, I don't like driving with shit in my car, even if it's frozen. So I think I'm cool for that, but thanks anyway. What else you got, Mr. Hand?
Well, just outside of Jaco, there are mountains with several rivers where you can go rafting and see waterfalls. There is a nominally priced ticket, but it's totally worth it. You can even rent a horse to explore some of the best waterfall spots. Of course, that will be more money, especially if you have sex with the horse.
I think that's only fair. But I've never ridden a horse, let alone fucked one. And we have a waterfall in our backyard, so I'm good for that.
No problem. Well, then you can always get a massage from a woman in that aforementioned bordello. That massage will turn into sex because that's what goes down in a third world country fuck shack. Anyway, while you're boning, I suggest you inquire, who's the boss? She'll presumably turn around in confusion right after you ask her who's the boss. When she does, give her a donkey punch and then answer, Tony Danza. She probably won't know who the fuck Tony Danza is. And you better hope she doesn't, because if she does, she's at least 50 years old, and because she's been a prostitute for 3 decades, definitely has full-blown AIDS. Anyway, right when you're about to come, be sure to pull out and shoot a load in her eye. Then kick her in the shin so when she stumbles away she resembles a drunken pirate. But you might have to tip her extra for that.
Yeah. I could never do that to anyone. It's not really my thing, Mr. Hand. I did like Who's the Boss when I was a kid. Samantha was pretty hot. She turned out to be a bit wacky, but anyway, I think I'll pass on that too.
How about bird watching? If you're a bird lover, there are upwards of 800 species of birds in Costa Rica. Enthusiasts from all over the globe visit because of this. There are so many unique sounds that these birds make, especially when they're fucking.
Yeah, we have birds in America, Mr. Hand, so if I wanted to, I could go to the zoo to watch birds fuck, so I'm out on that too.
I see. Well then, I hate to keep harping on this, but you could always go to that cat house and perform what's known as the minivan.
You know, when my kids were young, we actually owned a minivan. I hated that fucking thing.
This minivan definitely has nothing to do with kids. It involves inserting your 2 fingers into a vagina and then shoving your entire fist up her ass. This act is called the minivan because, like the popular vehicle, it sits 2 in the front and 5 in the back. If you want to try the minivan, ask for Isabella. That's her specialty. But just a heads up, since she's been the minivan over 10,000 times, her asshole is a bit looser than the other girls, so you might actually need to put your other fist up there too. Actually, I forgot that you'll be using that hand to finger blast her, so just forget it. Are you sure you don't want to just go bird watching? Because Isabella is definitely going to shit on your fist.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'd rather have a bird shit on me than Isabella. So go ahead and book me for that bird tour, Mr. Hand. All right, Mr. Hand, thanks for the conversation. Appreciate that. Please rate and review the podcast. Mr. Hand loves that shit. Check out irishcomic.com. Donate if you're very cool. Help me get back to Costa Rica. And thank you always for listening to Jason Gillearn's Chatbot.